You remember I made quite a number of statements about morality 4 weeks ago in our sex and sexuality discussion. And morality triggers people on so many levels. For a start, many times it triggers us on the level that we feel we're being judged. So we feel that we're being judged, and some of the worst judgments on this planet occur regarding sexuality, don't they? You think about, you know, the judgments of many homosexuals that they've received over their lives. Many of them have been violently judged, so violently that in fact many have been killed for their sexuality. And so you can see that all the way through religious history too. There's so much judgment about sexuality. You think about what's happened in the churches generally. There's this general idea that if you're sexual or you have a sexual desire, then you're no longer spiritual. Even in New Age philosophy, there's this general idea that you have to detune from your sexual desire in order to become spiritual. And then there's the opposite thing that often occurs, where there's this whole, if you like, thinking that goes along the lines of, you know, you've got to have sex with everyone to actually love everyone. And that is a concept that, I know it sounds funny, but it's a concept that many people have about sexuality, right? And so when we start making statements about what God created as the ideal, obviously often you and I will start feeling like we're being judged. And so my suggestion is, when you feel that feeling, go ahead and feel it. But don't just get up and walk out, because that feeling is not my judgment of you. That is your judgment of yourself. And if you can allow yourself to sit in that feeling, what will happen is you'll start bringing up some emotions. Now, some of the emotions will be due to the law of compensation. Now, remember we've talked about that in the past, the law of compensation? That's the law that says that whenever you break one of God's laws of love, there's something that happens to your soul that later on will have to be emotionally released. So, for example, if I murder, there's something that happens to my own soul, which when that thing occurs, I'll have to actually now allow at some point in the future the release of that emotion. Now that emotion, well, you know, will be this terrible feeling that comes over me of what I've done, and the terrible feelings of the consequences of what I've done. And so the law of compensation works that way too with regard to sex and sexuality. There's many things in our lives where we may have done something. This is ringing a bit, isn't it? There's many things in our lives where we may have done something. I think it's that one.
No, it's the one down there on page 8.
Oh, okay. Which one is it?
Second hole.
Second hole. So there's many things that... the second hole? First hole.
First hole.
There's many things that we've done. I'm just trying to adjust that so there's no ringing. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's many things that we've done in our lives that have been, shall we say, things that we're ashamed of. And it's really good if you can allow yourself to go into those things, because your sexual injuries are very much connected to two emotions. One emotion is anger, and the other emotion is shame. So if we can allow ourselves to go into any of those kind of things, it will help us a lot.